This episode is brought to you by Buy My Stuff on eBay. Yes, you too can buy my stuff from eBay. Simply search for the seller, Tin Dog Podcast, and you can own some rare and collectible items. From the same people who brought you Buy My Books on Amazon. Check the show notes for a direct link.
Scanning for audio.
It is the 31st century. Ulysses killed the giant Cyclops when he rescued the children and his son Telemachus. But the ancient gods of Olympus are angry and threaten a terrible revenge.
Mortals, you defy the gods? I sentence you to travel among unknown stars. Until you find the kingdom of Hades, your bodies will stay as lifeless as stones.
Ulysses, no one else can do the things you do. Ulysses, always fighting all the evil forces, bringing peace and justice to all.
Welcome to a Tin Dog Podcast. So, I thought some time ago that I wasn't really enjoying TV Doctor Who. I'm really enjoying doing the For Your Consideration with Luke, and I'm really enjoying the big finishes. So I put something on Twitter that said, hey, guys, what else should I do? Some people suggested I cover Buffy, which, I loved. I could do Buffy and Angel. What's that, 7 years worth of stuff? Yeah, that'd be great. Hundreds of episodes. And yeah, I would continue doing Big Finish because, that's where the joy of Doctor Who really is. But then I had an idea. I thought, while I was thinking about For Your Consideration topics, that I could do a cartoon that I loved as a kid. Something I probably already had somewhere on DVD. Hadn't watched it for years. So I thought I'll do Ulysses 31. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Ulysses 31 was originally made in 1981. I made lots of notes, okay? And in 1981 I was 9. In 1981, this was the years before I discovered Dungeons and Dragons, before so much other stuff. Tom Baker was just leaving, Peter Davison was turning up, that kind of thing. I was 9. So I looked it up, Ulysses 31, and discovered that in fact in the UK it was shown in 1985 in November, which means that this is the 40th anniversary year of it being shown. It has a beginning, it has 26 episodes, and it has a definite actual end. Background-wise, it is stupendous. So, in 1985, I'm 13. Just past 12, 13, okay? This is the year of the 2 Doctors. This is the year that I think Tenko finishes. And there's a load of other stuff which I'm sure I'll cover as time goes by. So I've sat down, I've encoded all of the episodes onto MP4 so I can have them on my tablet and I can watch them. They're 25 minutes long because this is a cartoon. This is the sort of thing you would rush home from school for. Now, this is the first year of my GCSEs, and obviously I'm supposed to be concentrating on stuff, which means of course I'll be watching cartoons. Is 15 too old to be completely captivated by something? This is, after all, the year that She-Ra, not He-Man, She-Ra, came out. That's a whole different series of She-Ra. No, this is the year that She-Ra, the original Princess of Power, turned up. This is the realm where you had Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles, or Hero Turtles as they were on the BBC. This was the first year of the Broom Cupboard with Pip Schofield. That kind of era. So if you're in the UK, I'm touching a lot of little neurons there and triggering stuff. Now, the important thing about Ulysses 31, apart from the fact that it's set in the 31st century and it deals with a lot of, retelling of Greek myths, which of course we'll do, and I've even been doing some research. Bless me on that one. No. The important thing is it's got a cracking theme tune. It's got a song. Why do TV shows not have songs anymore? I'll try and finish with that because, this is going to get a breach of copyright note anyway, so that's fine. Oh, also, if you're listening to this on YouTube and you scroll through the notes, or indeed if you're just listening to this using an ordinary podcast, if you click on one of the links, I'll include a link to watch the actual episode. right? Which obviously, I've found some on the internet. You can just play them to your heart's content. So after you've heard this, my little chat, if you're interested in watching it, just click on the link in the show notes and you'll be able to watch the absolute episode. They're 25 minutes long, which is interesting because at the time, a lot of the cartoons, let's face it, this was the era of Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, which I also have on DVD. And if this goes down well, I could always go down that road eventually, but not yet. So, episode 1 is called Vengeance of the Gods. Because this is a joint venture between a Japanese animation company and a French animation company. Yeah, this is the years that we had D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers and all of those kind of things. You can tell that I absolutely loved animation. Okay. But here is my actual first taste of... It feels French. It feels Japanese because of the explosions and the way it's shot and everything. And the artwork is excellent quality. There is considerably lower quality animation from the early period. I don't want to diss Star Trek the Animated Series, but this is definitely a step up. This is a step up from most of the other animation at the time. It really made people get their act together. It was made in 81, okay? Which means it was in production in 1980. So there's a lot of Star Wars influence. People going, what can we do? Now, obviously, you've got stuff like Blake 7 going on as well at the same time while it's being made. So it's that kind of zeitgeist feel. But we got it late because it's a translation. Now, when I'm watching it now, aged 50-something, 54, 53, 50... How old am I these days? Oh, sod it, in my 50s. I do start to see some of the issues. But let's look at a nice synopsis. I got this one off Wikipedia. On his trip back from Earth, Ulysses' son is carried off by the Cyclops to give sight to his followers with Telemachus, that's Ulysses' son, life force. Ulysses destroys the Cyclops, saves Telemachus, some other people called Yumi and Numenor. In retaliation, the ancient gods send his ship, the Odyssey, into an unknown part of space, with the bulk of its crew cursed to remain lifeless, floating in midair until Ulysses finds the kingdom of Hades. Okay, so what you've got is a retelling of the Odyssey. You've got the Iliad, and you've got the story of the Roman. Well, you've got the story of Troy, the siege of Troy, the Troy War, and then that's one book, and the other book is the Journey Home. Okay, this is actual Greek myths. And what they've done is they've taken the Greek myths, the best of them, and then repackaged them in a strange futuristic kind of way where people have got space swords and shields. Why is there not a shield in Star Wars? If you've got a laser sword, you could have a laser shield. Sorry, I don't want to give Tony Gilroy ideas, but why don't you just give up on Star Wars and just make this live action? Okay, so you've got a French-Japanese translation. Some of the performances are a bit too much on the nose, explaining things too much. But the design is great. You've got blue elves in the darkness with glints of eyes, but there's no time for them to build up any worry, so you've got them coming out. There's a lot of... Do you remember that Foss artwork? The spaceships are huge because, let's face it, they're drawings. The story in the first episode is a bit rushed. You've got the business with the kidnapping of the children, the strange planet appearing, the leaving of Troy. Yeah, I know they leave Troy because he has to get home to stop his wife from marrying someone, which is straight out of the original, before the next comet comes, and of course she's going to try and delay things. All of these things is laid on very thick, very quickly. There's a lot of world building straight off. And yes, it does look off its time, but you know what? Hey, we're Doctor Who fans and we've been doing podcasting for a hell of a long time. You can let me off with that. Story-wise, you've got to get through quite a lot. You've got to get the beginning of the journey, the interception, the kidnapping of Telemachus with the light ball coming through the thing, why they're sacrificing children, how they get the eyesight, the actual Cyclops building itself, that they look like characters straight from Call of Cthulhu, all little cultists going on. And they're trying now, the Cyclops creature, which is a giant robot, more kind of belongs in Godzilla more than anything else. Again, the Japanese stuff. That creature has got big, massive lasers coming out of its eyes and all sorts. And it just works. You kind of go along with it. You immediately get the pacing of the show and you're going with it. And my God, the soundscape, it takes you back. So you are 13 once again. And you're just there having this this show coming at you with the great voiceovers. Now, the spoiler is, during the opening credits, the title sequence, it does tell you the story of the show in those first few seconds. Now, there's an extra chorus in the song which tells the story of Nono the robot. That's missing from the initial first episode. It is in the later songs, and of course it's an earworm, so I am warning you, it will get into your head. But this is great. There's business with black holes, straight from Disney, going straight through a black hole, and you can't even turn on the engines to escape. Of course you can't, because this is it. You've got the Cyclops, it's a robot, it's been created by Poseidon. Poseidon's the son, or is it brother of Zeus? We'll get back to you on that one when I actually figure it all out. You get very quick moments where you get to demonstrate characters' psychic powers, and you just know that, like Battlestar Galactica with the repeated bits, you'll be able to reuse those segments later on when people are using their magic/psychic powers. We don't understand the reality of the blinded characters being given sight by the Cyclops thing by sacrificing children. Where did the other children get kidnapped from? How come the planet appeared? Did that one come to them? Forget all that. We're just not here for the pedanticness. Well, we kind of are, but you know what I mean. But there's a great moment near the end where Ulysses is wandering around the ship after he's repaired the engine and saved the ship, and the rest of the crew have all vanished, and he's wandering around, and there's a genuine feeling of loneliness. The way it's shot, the Dutch camera angles and everything, stuff that isn't needed and possibly wouldn't even be done these days, appears here. Yes, it's not as good as I remember, and yes, it's even better than I remember. So come with me as we do a 26 episode run as we go through the whole series from start to end, and we have a bit of a chat. And if you've got any feedback or thoughts about your time watching it, feel free either email me using the number at the end, the email address at the end, or even just message me at the end with the YouTube links. You know what I mean? Leave a comment, give a thumbs up, subscribe, do any of those other things that people always beg you to do. Because this is the trip, this is the Odyssey, literally the Odyssey through every episode of Ulysses 31. Come with me. You know you want to. Until next time, be seeing you.
Ulysses, Ulysses, soaring through all the galaxies, in search of Earth, flying into the night. Ulysses, no one else can do the things you do. Ulysses, always fighting all the evil forces, bringing peace and justice to all.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. All topics discussed are the intellectual property of the copyright owners. No infringement is intended. Why not follow the show on Blue Sky at tindogpodcast.bsky.social. If you've enjoyed this podcast on YouTube, please click like and subscribe. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.